Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann here trying to... Oh, blew that one, didn't I? This is Andy McCann with Food, Fitness, and Finance, and I'm trying to help you lay a firm foundation in those three things. Wow. I guess I need to drink more coffee before I get started. Okay, so today we are going to talk slow and fast twitch muscles, why we care, or do we care, and then how does CrossFit kind of lend into that. Spoiler, I love to give you the great stuff right up front. If you're doing CrossFit, you're going to build both slow twitch and fast twitch, and you just want to be above average in both of those in order to really break the numbers for longevity and effective long life. So you're already doing what you need to do if you're doing CrossFit. If you're not, you can probably do something better. So you're all already good. Spoiler, keep doing CrossFit. It is the best hack in health and fitness that I have ever found. Okay. So first thing, we do have a lot of free information for you. So if you're in Woodstock, Georgia, sure, come to the gym. I think most of the listeners are members, so that's awesome. If you're not, if you're from the survival podcast community and you're listening, that's great too. If you're local here in Woodstock, come to us, see how we do our thing, how we manage the gym, how we promote community, all that stuff. See what we're doing. It's not just doing CrossFit, it's everything else that goes into it. I think weirdly, when I was asking people, hey, what do you like most about the gym? Most of the time it was community. I'm like, that's weird because our thing is to help you get healthy and fit, not community. But when you have people suffering together, it builds community, builds bonds. When you have people interested in something like this, they're going to be interested in other stuff. Okay, so free resources I've got for you. If you go to our website, crossfitgarage.com/free, or hover over gym information, and then at the bottom it says free resources. We've got a ton of stuff. Most of these things came up because I do a bit for the survival podcast, Jack Spirko. On Thursday, he has expert counselors come in and talk about whatever people want to talk about. So people email in questions, or I bring questions that you guys have had from the gym to the show. And anyway, a lot of times what happens is I need to create a thing to answer that question. And so I put it right here. So we've got like 60 different workouts you could do. So 30, and then another 32 at-home workouts that you could do at home. So these workouts you could just do. You don't even need a gym. Just go do it there. We've got the Carnivore Kickstarter. We got Garage Fitness Online. It's a full fleshed out thing. Well, mostly fleshed out. It's in the alpha stages. My brother and I are still working on it. He is swamped with AI, but we do use AI now for this. So it's free. Well, free to you. I just want your email address because I don't want people spinning the AI bots up as much as free would allow because, that actually costs us money. So, hey, give us your email and you can use it for free. He's in the midst of doing a lot of cool AI stuff. He is like, if you've ever read the book Mistborn, he's like Kelsier fighting the Lord Ruler with all of his trinkets up and spinning. He's like a master at spinning the plates of AI. It's just fascinating to hear what he's doing for work and for fun. Okay, we also got 60 Easy. We got the Regain Your Mobility, your expiration quiz. Oh, I need to go look that up and see if anybody has sent in information on that. I let that one go. So basically your expiration date quiz uses a ChatGPT sort of modeling thing that I got from somebody else. And then I run it through a prompt that I've got and it says, hey, these are the things I see about you. So it's just ChatGPT telling us about you. Let me go look that up and see if anybody's jumped into that. All right, I just went back and looked, and I think I've caught up on everybody. There's been a few. I think the last one was like in November, so I don't really promote that one that much. I was on a kick, and I still am, how to keep 50-year-old men alive, and this is just, that was part of it. Is like, hey, well, I don't think they understand where they're at. I had a good conversation with one of my relatives, and I was like, dude, you're 50 plus, and you're working hard, and you don't exercise. So, I mean, the statistic is you. You're primed for one of these things to happen. And he's like, nah, not me. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Statistics don't give a shit about whether you think it's you or not. It's a funny thing. If you're in a room full of people and you said 50% of you are going to get punched in the face, more than half the room is going to be like, no, not me. And then you tell everyone, hey, turn to someone and punch them in the face, right? So we don't understand probability very well as humans. Anyway, there's a Lion Diet playlist, good stuff if you're trying to help yourself. Evan used the Lion Diet to fix his Crohn's diagnosis. We got some local beef option, blood pressure optimization. Anyway, a bunch of free stuff if you are local. So on our website now, I have our membership and our prices It's up there. All the mentors and all of the wise people of all the world tell you, do not put your prices on your website. That way they give you their email address, you give them pricing. So it's a kind of an exchange. I'm like, I think that's dumb. I don't really agree with that. But we've done that forever because that's what the brilliant minds of this industry say, right? And anyway, I had somebody send in a questionnaire or a give me your prices form, and usually it asks for your phone number and your name, your phone number, and your email address. You don't have to put in your phone number though. Anyway, so this person for their phone number, it was 867543009, so from the song, and then their email address was just show me your damn prices at gmail.com. I'm like, that's pretty funny. I get it. So I did. I went back and said, hey, what if I do this for me? So if you go to our website, you'll see our prices listed out there. I'm not ashamed or hiding or anything. They just say don't do it. I was always a proponent of putting your prices on there because I don't like to not know. I just want to click and look and say, okay, it's right. So yeah, we're going to go with what I think is right, not what the industry says is right. I have found more success in this gym business just doing what Andy McCann, thinks is a great way to run a business. So we're very open. I'm very honest. I don't have contracts. We deliver services. We do what we say, and we don't do what we don't say, right? Anyway, so membership, the prices are on there. We have one membership. We have one standard membership. If you want to come to the gym and take classes, it's $175 per month right now as of February 23rd, 2026. And of course, you add in whatever your credit card fee or ACH fee is. So if you use an American Express, I think it's like $12 every time you swipe the card. And you're like, this is why I get rewards. Yeah, because the vendor pays for extra, right? So typically what would happen is you would swipe $175 and then American Express would pull out $12 for themselves. So the vendor, the provider, me, would get $12 less. A bank ACH is like $4 usually. And so it kind of gets varied in between based on who you're using, like Discover Card or Visa or whatever. And then whatever rates and promotions you have off your card. The more rewards you get, the more the businesses have to pay for it. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to penalize people for getting their rewards. I'm just going to tell what if I created an option and I clicked the button that said, hey, charge back their fees. So you're paying for your own fees. The cheapest way to do it is to do ACH, or even better, there is a way, I don't know how, but 3 people have done it. You set it up with Zelle or however you say that, and you can pay that way. The other option is if you're like, hey, I don't really need a gym. I don't want coaching. I just want the gym equipment and I want to do my own thing. Yeah, we have that. That's the 24/7 access only. You can't come during classes, and that's $80 a month. Then we have the co-location workspace. So, hey, I need a place to work, and I want to write off the gym membership and the co-location on my taxes for my business. Yeah, we do that. It's $200 a month. And then the actual title of it is co-location workspace is your membership. It comes with the gym membership. Yeah, so you get to write all that stuff off. We also do have personal training and nutrition coaching, but that's all depends on what you need. So I can't price that out. So it just depends. Like if you're coming in every single day with, I don't know, Josiah, then that's way more than just coming in once a month with him, right? So it's super variable. Okay, on with the show. So fast twitch, and slow twitch. What is it and why do we care? All right, so the idea is, why can some people run forever but can't jump on a box, while other people can deadlift a truck but have no gas to even go 400 meters, right? What's the problem? What's going on? Why is this a thing? So the nutshell is this. I'm going to go into detail, but here's the nutshell. Fast twitch, think of anything sports related. So it's the quicker explosive muscle groups, right? The only way they know what you've got is if they actually biopsy your leg muscle. So they're going to stick a cork in you and pull out some stuff and they're going to look at it. Man, it's super painful. Don't do that. Do we really care? No, we don't. There is no if you've got 90% more of slow, fast, whatever, you're going to live a better. No, it's not that. It's basically get above average in both and you're good. So fast twitch uses the shorter energy systems. So basically you've got aerobic, oxygen, anaerobic, not oxygen, right? Aerobic is the oxygen piece and means not or no. So aerobic would be like I'm doing a 20-minute run and I'm breathing, aerobic. A anaerobic would be I deadlifted one time. I held my breath, lifted up, put it down. So Anaerobic is going to use the other pathways. So we typically talk about 3 different pathways for energy systems inside of this world. There's more than 3, but these are the ones that we know the most about and the primary drivers. So you have, let's see if I can remember these. It's glycogen and glycolytic and phosphagen cycles. That's your like 30 seconds and 10 seconds, like just the push, the drive, like I'm doing a clean and jerk, right? It's throwing a baseball. Then you've got oxidative, which is I went for a marathon run, right? So 2 different types of muscles that do different things. The primary feature is the fast twitch have a better exchange with glycogen and phosphagen. So basically, it's something like, I'm making this part up. Don't let facts ruin a good story, right? So it's something like they burn 1 piece of phosphagen, glycogen, whatever your stores to give you 1 unit of energy. And so boom, it's a trade-off. They're not very efficient when you look at the other ones, but it's a fast exchange. And it doesn't last for a while, but you don't need it to. It's fast. Then you have the other one, the slow twitch. So what it's going to do is it's going to exchange oxygen for the energy unit. So let's say it's 1 oxygen unit for 4 energy units, but it takes a little bit longer, right? So it's a long burn. I can go for like a 24-hour race. It's that type of muscles. Now, you're never using something in isolation. So even if you went jogging, you're probably going to have bits and pieces that are still fast twitch somewhere in there, and they will tire out. This is why, like, sometimes you're like, hey, I can do squats for a very long time. Yes, it's your big muscle groups, right? And it doesn't burn you out. But if I do something like, I don't know, push-ups, your biceps go quicker, right? So there's more to it than that, but you can follow along. So that's the basic idea, is the energy system that the muscle burns. We want everything. In CrossFit, we are greedy. I want you guys to be healthy and fit. I want you to have it all. I want you to live as long as you possibly can with a very super functional life expectancy. And let me say this, I am not a doctor. This is never medical advice. You're an idiot if you listen to me for medical advice. You should go research on your own. What I hope to do is expand your mind to say that, hey, not everything you think you knew is exactly the way you think you knew it. Kind of like HDL and LDL for cholesterol. Turns out I'm right as they start publishing more stuff. Would I have believed me? I mean, I believe me, but you should do your own research. Okay, so here are some things. I'm going to give you some, well, I have an outline for this, but you know me, I'm very tangential and I will jump around. And of course, now that I said jump around, all you people from the 80s and 90s are like, jump around. Yeah, you know. Oh man, that coffee is hot. Okay, so type 1 or slow twitch. They're for endurance. They're fatigue resistant, not immune. They just, you could do things longer with those muscle groups. It's got a lower force output. So force equals MA, so mass times acceleration. And they're oxygen dependent. I already said that. So they're going to burn oxygen. They want you to breathe, right? They're mitochondrial dense. So the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. I hate that saying, but that's what it is. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than we really know, but this is what they tell us mere villagers about it. Okay, so an example of what you would be doing is a marathon, rowing for distance, farmer's carry, or a farmer, right? Or laborers, anybody out like a construction worker, they're going to be using this all day because they need to move for more than 8 hours a day, right? You could also, like the people who are doing like 25,000 steps a day, sure. Now, you know me. Hey, if you're doing nothing, fine, put a pedometer on you and go step. Something is better than nothing. But in the scheme of things, it is way better to go from nothing to move, from move to exercise, and then exercise to train. Now, the pinnacle would be from train to sport, but it's really hard to find sport every day. I like what CJ does. He says he plays a lot of basketball in the morning on, I think it's like a Thursday or Friday basketball league. And that is awesome. I would love it if everyone could find a way to get into sport. Your body does something different when you're twisting and turning and accelerating and decelerating as much as sport demands. And man, that's just a great expression of what we're doing. Okay. So we have type 2 or fast oxidative muscles. So here's the thing that they don't really tell you is that your fast twitch can actually be kind of like a hybrid. So you can actually move a fast twitch to be a more oxidative burner, not just purely glycogen or phosphagen, right? So anyway, that's sort of what we do. And this is why CrossFit works, is because we do these things. So it's power and endurance blend. And that's kind of almost all of our workouts. It's usually some sort of combination of things, right? Not always, but a lot of times. So it also helps kind of like, I guess, put barriers around this fatigue, right? So it helps you be even more, let's say it that way, makes you even more fatigue resistant, but not immune, right? So it just allows you to get a little bit longer. So it's like in CrossFit. I tell people all the time, if you half-ass it, you do get better because everything's growing with you. So you may not notice, like, I'm still just half-assing it. That's okay, because the scale has slid because you're better, right? So anyway, it is trainable. You can do that. So CrossFit is the sweet spot for that. So we're going to give you both, and we're going to help retrain some purely fast twitch to be both a type 2A, if they would call it that, or as they call it. So it kind of gets both. Now, I think here's the thing they're going to find over time. It's not really what we already say it is. It's just, this is what we categorize it now as. I bet you once AI gets to rip and roar through all of the data, they come up with something better. Anyway, so the other side of it is this fast twitch, or type 2, is fast with the glycolytic. So like I said, it uses the other energy store, so non-oxidative, to do maximum explosion. Anything with maximum power. So if I'm like box jumping like super high or something like that, right? But the problem is you fatigue pretty quick. And like I said, these ones are not using oxygen. So once you burn that fuel source out, it's kind of hard to bring it back. Example would be like doing Olympic lifts, sprinting, jumping, or any sort of burst play like a football player, like they blow the whistle, everyone does their thing, and then they stop. I wouldn't say so much basketball, or, yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're doing in basketball. But in basketball, typically you're on the court and moving the whole time. There is no repeated break. So NFL is or football is a very unique sport where it's broken up into like, I don't know, like 10 seconds of action with 30 seconds of downtime. Okay, so like I said, the good part for you guys is CrossFit's a very good bridge. We do a little bit of everything. So the trade-off of being greedy and I want it all is you don't get any one of them as fast as if you just did the one thing. So if you want your muscles to be bigger, hypertrophy. Eat a lot of protein, eat some creatine, and do hypertrophy. They'll be bigger quicker, right? Follow the hypertrophy protocol. Like Coach Matt specializes in hypertrophy and a couple other things. So if you want to go down that route, ask him, give me a plan. He will hook you up. But, so, hypertrophy will make you stronger. CrossFit also makes you stronger. It just does not blow up the muscle the same way hypertrophy would. So it's a different, I don't know, the goals are different, but people don't understand this. Like I have a good buddy, Patrick, who said, I haven't lost weight and I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what is your goal? He said to lose belly fat. I'm like, okay, so you're tracking belly fat by stepping on the scale. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, if you're doing all these things, you know you're getting muscle. Muscle weighs more. He's like, oh, son of a bitch. That's right. So make sure your goal and your tracking mechanism actually align, which a lot of times they don't. This is why I say hire an expert. In seconds, we'll be able to tell you what we need to tell you because you don't do this every day. I was talking to Coach Josiah, and I forgot exactly what we were talking about, but I was like, it's like when we look across the room and see someone doing a snatch, and we know immediately, oh, that's not right. There's probably some things I could tell you to fix that. And he's like, yeah, because we've seen like 10,000 lifts, right? It's not complicated for an expert, especially when it's not you, to see it. We don't have to video it. We're actually just watching. We get to see you do this thing. Okay, so next thing, a little bit of genetics versus training. This is a rough one. It's a weird one that your genetics do determine a very big portion of this. You get a big baseline of that. And you can do some training to shift some of that expression, but you really can't change all that much. And there's a very fine line here. Like, I am not saying this serious. This is totally a joke. It's just something funny that it's like how words matter. It's like, I love you, or I love you, or I love you, right? So the words and the way you say it matter. In this case, the word. We know that dogs are bred to do different things. This Great Pyrenees I have, Ollie, he is bred to protect whatever he bonds to. So if we had put him out with the chickens, he would have bonded more with them and he would want to protect them a lot. Well, he bonded to Levi and me. So he's like, I'm always wanting to sleep in the doorway wherever you are so I can protect the doorway, because if anyone's coming after you, they're coming after you through that doorway. I'm like, well, that is correct. And I do appreciate that, Ollie, but he's always in the way. But he is bred that way. What do they call the not a terrier, a shepherd dog, I don't know, Australian sheep herder, whatever. Those little dogs that herd sheep around, they do that. And if they don't have sheep to herd, they will herd your children. They are bred to do that. They have genetic predispositions in their habits or whatever it is, right? A greyhound is bred to be super fast, right? They're just made, right? I don't know. If you say that sort of thing, you start to sound sort of weird when you turn the word in from dog to human. So, I don't know. Can you be genetically predisposed to a thing? Yes. Are you bred that way? I think that's the difference. No, we don't intentionally breed anyone that way. But, I mean, like follows like, right? So typically, if you live in China, most China men are marrying China women. So there's, right? Most, I don't know, English men are marrying English women. So there is a line, like this is why, I guess, what is it? Is it Irish that have red hair, blue eyes? I think that's right. I don't know. Or have a predominantly more? I don't know. But yes, your body can be a certain way. Now, the cool thing is you can train out of it to some degree. Not a lot, but you can a little bit, especially on the side of the fast twitch. You can push it a little bit more to be a mixed modality muscle group. Whew, okay. What does that mean and why? Do we even care? I guess I would kind of throw it in like this. You can't change the genetic predisposition of your engine. It is going to be what it is. You can grow it and you can grow it to its natural ability. What you can do is change the transmission, so the gearing. So I have one gear. You know, if anybody, I don't know if these days anybody ever drives a stick shift, but if you did and you downshifted incorrectly, like you're you're going from 30 to 40 to 50 and you're like shifting, and then you mess up and you shift down and it's like, and the car lurches and everything screams and you're like, oh man, I screwed that up. Right. So we can add more gears, but we can't change that. That engine will always be genetically a V8. That's the best you'll ever get, or V6 or V3.5, whatever. 3.5. I'm just making that up. Okay, so the problem then becomes like, okay, I'm training this stuff, but I'm getting older. What happens? Yeah, so aging, it sucks if you don't do stuff. Now, typically, if you think of an old guy doing something incredible, it's usually he's deadlifting a lot of weight. That's more on that slow twitch side, a bigger muscle group, right? You barely ever see them sprinting. Now, I have some things where like, hey, this 8-year-old's doing some sprints. Crazy, because sprinting is a great way to pop a thing because we just don't do it that much. Now, that 80-year-old probably doing a lot of training in the sprinting, so it's okay for him. So your fast twitch fibers will fade quicker with age. So atrophy, they degrade down. So you need to train those. Fortunately, CrossFit's always training those. Your power declines less faster, the bigger muscle group. This is why you can have like, this happens a lot to us. Hey, I used to lift a lot in my 20s. I am 40 now and I really haven't done much, but look at me. I can lift a lot of weight. I usually tell them, please don't. Go slow and easy. Guys never listen. Girls always listen. I love it. But your strength will stick with you longer than the ability to explode through something like a clean and jerk. So your deadlift, your back squat would stay. So there is a thing where people say, oh no, my parent tripped and fell and broke their hip. What they're finding now is they actually broke their hip and they tripped and fell. So their their muscles and their bones are degrading and things are getting loosey-goosey. They're not eating the right things and so forth. So aging can have many effects. You can hold them off by doing stuff. I'm living proof. I'm 52. Or look at Paul Heimerl. He's even better. I think he's like 63 or something. And I mean, dude, that guy's crushing it. If we could all look like that, or for me, 10 years, for you guys, 20 years, right? Just keep doing and stop eating like a death row inmate. So, yeah, so this will like lend itself towards frailty and falls and the loss of your independence. So we want to keep that atrophy down by doing. Your body is the ultimate adaptation machine. It wants to adapt to the stimulus around it just to survive. So we want to push it beyond that. So we're doing more than surviving. We are thriving. All right, I'm going to pause you guys while I go get some more coffee. Okay, that was a much longer break for me to get the coffee. Several chores had to get done. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit and talk to you a little bit more about like maybe how CrossFit is helping you out. If you're not doing CrossFit, that's okay. A CrossFit style. So CrossFit is just constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. So here's what I would say about that. If you're going to work out 5 days a week, which I would recommend, 3 days a week, mix these into the workout however you can. Squat below parallel, lift something heavy, and get out of breath. So you may be like, squat below parallel. I'm going to back squat heavy today. Great. Are you getting out of breath? No. Are you lifting something heavy? Yes. So you have 2 of those 3. Maybe all 3 of them. I am doing thrusters now. So I'm out of breath, I'm lifting something mildly heavy, and I've squat below parallel. So mix that together in whatever form, fashion you can. I think that is the key. The getting out of breath could be running. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be CrossFit, but boiling CrossFit down is those movements put together in a constantly varied function. It doesn't necessarily matter exactly what you're doing. It's just that you're hitting those things. I think a reason I like to follow someone else's programming is they come up with things I just never would have thought of. So like the other day we had a bench press workout that was very different and unique that I wouldn't have done. Today we did some 100-meter sprints with pull-ups and then free handstand holds, right? I just wouldn't have put all that stuff together. Okay, so when you bodybuild, you're mostly building type 2 with hypertrophy. When you're power lifting, a little bit different, it's going to be that type 2, but this kind of a hybrid-ish, right? And that's helping you with strength. And then endurance is type 1. CrossFit, we got heavy lifts, we got gymnastics, we got sprint intervals, we have long grinders, we have super short workouts. So we're doing it all. We're going to build everything in that spectrum. Now, if you want to push some of your fast twitch to grow into a hybrid slow twitch so it can do both, studies have shown they'll actually plug somebody's leg and biopsy it and pull it out and look at the different threads and all the muscle fibers. So mixed modality training, high intensity intervals, strength plus endurance blended together actually drives that adaptation. Weird. What do we do? So once again, CrossFit goes to the top of the sifting pool of just junk really works. You just have to show up. And that is really one of the hardest things, is putting in your schedule to show up every day. So the other podcast, I think it was last week, was VO2 max. And this kind of comes into play here. So you have this mitochondrial density, the ability to uptake the oxygen and do something with it. So this is kind of where these things start overlapping. And this is why CrossFit really works. It's like, oh man, I was just doing a deep dive on the Widowmaker. So no, it's not your ex-girlfriend. A Widowmaker is on your heart. There is, the left something artery. So basically your heart needs blood. You would think, well, there's blood in your heart. Doesn't it just take from that? No, weirdly, there is an artery that goes from your heart to your heart. So it takes the blood out and then it diverts it into some capillaries that actually feed your heart, which is so weird. Like, it's pumping blood. Why doesn't it just take from that? It doesn't. So when it pulls from that, your like that VO2 max and all that, the deep dive was like, why do Widowmakers happen and how do we not see that? It was very fascinating, actually. But the point here is your body, given time with something like CrossFit, your heart will create different pathways because it's asking for more oxygen. So it says, hey, I've got these normal routes from here to there, but you keep doing me rotten and I need to get better. And the way I do that is I build more capillary and systems inside of your heart. So that if that Widowmaker gets jacked and it's like, oh no, I'm fully clogged. But really what they usually say happens is there is a tear and the platelets kind of bind up and that's when the clog happens. So the tear comes from it getting too much cholesterol, but your artery is more flexible. It's not a pipe. It's not like a toilet pipe, a PVC pipe. It's more like a rubber band pipe. So as the cholesterol would build up, it actually expands out so that you still have a pretty good flow. So even if it's if it's dense with cholesterol, it's still pushing out. So the flow rate's pretty good. This is why that doesn't get you caught. But what will happen is eventually there'll be a micro tear and then platelets will form in there and then the platelets build up and then the platelets create a quick clot and you're like, oh no, I'm in trouble. So The reason that some older people survive the Widowmaker is that they've got this extra pathways built up. How do you build those up? You have your heart demand more oxygen. And how does it do that? Well, you work out. So CrossFit is a great way to do that. It bumps us up for, I need oxidative, but it also bumps us up for, I need fast now, right? So same thing happens in your muscles. It's going to create more capillaries. And this is what is, so the slow twitch with the oxidative is really good at building more opportunity or capillaries. So you can increase your VO2 max simply by doing what we do and creating more highways for your muscles to uptake that oxygen. Okay. Woo! All that to say, keep doing CrossFit. Okay. So, and again, the idea of, I guess it doesn't have to be CrossFit, just a high intensity, but that's what CrossFit kind of comes down to. We should be intense and high intensity. Let me back that up. High intensity does not mean I'm going 100% or 110%. High, not highest. So high intensity is like 70%. That is good. 70% is perfect. And you can come back and make that happen every time. It's like when we do a max, 1 rep max lift, the next day you're like, wow, I am trashed from that. Right. So when you go for 100% or 110% or whatever, it ruins you for a couple days. Best is to show up over and over. Don't ruin yourself for the gym. Okay. So doing the high intensity is going to create kind of a, I don't know, what would you call it? It's going to make you more tolerant to the lactate that builds up or moving it out, right? So basically what you're gonna do is have your type 2 fibers will last longer, recover faster, and be able to produce more repeatable results, okay? So we wanna keep doing these things because it works. I think I'll start trying to drive this guy home by saying, if you're only training the things that you enjoy, then you're not training, you're just exercising. You should push yourself with a little bit of uncomfortness because that's going to push the boundaries and grow. You're going to get gray matter adaptation, so your brain will increase in its function by doing things like Sudoku puzzles and whatnot. Trying to train your belly or your body to do difficult tasks is good for you. So I always say when people are like, I can't do that, why? It's so hard. For gymnastics, I will pat my head and rub my tummy to say, it's just one of those things you have to practice. It's not something that you can just get, like deadlifting. I can just have you deadlift, and I can even grow your strength over a year with never deadlifting. You'll just be stronger, and then we'll go back and deadlift, and you'll lift more. But I can't make you a better person doing double unders without practicing double unders, right? So don't just exercise your favorite pieces, train for new stuff, right? I'm not saying go out and sprint a bunch, but I am saying sprinting is important. If we're going to do it, I would say get on a device like a bike or a rower where it's very hard to like hurt yourself. Weirdly, when we sprint run, we can still pull our leg up really fast and twitch that and we just go pop and it's tough. I would say if you're going to bring sprinting, full real sprinting back into your life, you need to build up slowly over time. So I would take 3 months. Like even right now, because right now it's really cold, but it's about to be great weather, except if you're in Georgia, eventually there'll be like a 3-week span where all the green pollen is just everywhere. But anyway, it's good weather to get out there and do like 70% sprints, and then 75% effort sprints, and then 80, then 90, right? So build up to it. You don't want to go all out right at the beginning. It is super injurious, so watch out for that. Hey, now, I do want to say this. If you are training, if you are exercising for the thing you enjoy and you're doing it, man, freaking do it. I'm just saying if you want the next level of benefit, then you need to train some of the things you don't really care for because it helps. Okay, so in the functional lifespan, this longevity thing, like why do we care and what does it do for us? So kind of you can think of this slow twitch, keeps you moving. It's all of it is needed, but it'll keep me moving through life. The fast twitch may catch us when we fall. Hopefully we don't, right? If we want to get off the floor, it's going to be some of those other muscles. If we want to climb stairs effectively and not be out of breath, right? That sort of stuff is where kind of the fast twitch comes into. We want to be dangerous. We want to do all of that, and we're greedy. I'm just saying for those weaker that aren't doing this sort of things, they're going to struggle in this area. You won't. Man, this whole time I had actually my web browser, I use Brave, pull up like fast twitch, slow twitch muscle and just give me its AI definitions, which I love this. It's got to kill Google that we don't Google anything anymore. But I just pulled up its thing to see what it would say. And it's, I meant to read this off at the beginning, but it's telling you exactly what I said. So do you even need me to say it? No, but I can give you all the anecdotes that ChatGPT cannot give you in real life experience. Does it work? Yes. I don't even have a primary doctor. I don't suggest that for anybody. You should have somebody that probably cares and knows. But I go to see Dr. Skardassis, maybe not even it's like every other year. So I maybe even not even that once every 5 years. I don't know, but I don't go very often. I have used Thrive Medical across the street to draw blood. The one problem I had there was they did not order the advanced LDL panel, advanced lipid panel. So when I go back, I need to make sure they can order that. But they did have medical professionals that were totally open to the idea of, wow, your numbers don't make sense based on what you're doing and what we think we know. For example, my A1C was 5.8. And she'd say, well, typically we would say then you're pre-diabetic. I mean, seriously, everybody's pre-diabetic, right? That's just a dumb term. But anyway, she's like, hey, that's like a worrisome number at 5.8. I'm like, yes, that's true, but what would you tell me? And she's like, I know. I would tell you don't eat processed foods and sugars. She's, are you sure that you don't cheat? I'm like, yes. I mean, I'm motivated by my son, so yeah, I didn't cheat, and I love this eating style. So she's like, yeah, I am baffled, but I'll figure this out, right? Anyway, so I love the fact that she was willing to say, I don't know, it doesn't meet the norm, and we typically do the norm. And I agree. When people walk into the gym, I can say, hey, if you're a guy, your shoulders are tight. That's just the norm. For a girl, hey, you're probably going to have to learn what intensity really is because you usually just jog, right? So there is a norm that we operate in our business, and 90% of the business is that. Then you get the weirdo like me who is 1% or 0.1%, and she's like, do I even want to spend my time with you? And she said, yeah, I will. So that's awesome. I love that they do that. Okay, so does fast, slow twitch matter? Yes, but if you're doing CrossFit, then you're already doing the things you need to do. It is crazy the number of boxes that simply doing CrossFit checks for your length of life and your effective life longevity. Now, kinetic impact can change all that, car, bullet, whatever, something hits you really quick. That always messes things up. Now, but I will say this, I still need to get Pete on a podcast with me. Stuff can happen that is really bad, and your fitness becomes that hedge against the bad crap. Let me pull up that diagram. So CrossFit's got this thing. Let's see if I can find the picture of it. Nah, they're not. Fitness hedges against sickness. That might be it. So this is from CrossFit.com, but basically they give you this picture.
The needs of Olympic athletes and our grandparents.
Okay, I think that's going to be it's a video. I don't want a video. Sorry if you heard words there. Anyway, it basically looks like a rainbow, and on one side you have fitness, on the other side you have sickness of the rainbow, in the middle you have well. Basically, as you become more fit, your numbers look better than well. And when you get sick, they simply drop into well. So when we get sick, we're just not as sick as people who are normally like not doing anything. They get sick. Okay, guys. Hey, this is Andy McCann. I am an expert at nothing. I am a master of giving you information that, actually, I have one more thing I want to tell you of information that I have lived in my own life. We have some things coming up at the gym. Woo! I'm going to run through all this. Well, the CrossFit Open should be on its way when you listen to this podcast. Actually, nuts. I think this will come out. Yeah, it'll come out the day after Josh does his second endurance class. So the endurance class is March 1st. I think he already has another one planned. I need to go look that one up. It's 1 p.m. on Sunday. I don't know when the next one is. Then we've got the CrossFit Open on the 6th and the 13th. Then, I have it right here. So March 28th at 10 a.m. will be his third endurance class. Then in April, we have Festivus. I would love for you guys to be a competitor or a volunteer. It's a novice and intermediate competition. So it's a lot of fun to get out and do. You should try it. If you've never had a competition, no matter what stage you are in CrossFit, you should give it a go. It's great. May, weirdly, I don't have anything planned. And then we've got June, we'll do the gym gathering at the McCann family farm. I say farm in quotes because basically we just have chickens and everything else I kill, apparently. So that'll be Saturday, June 13th from 12 to 4. All right, guys, y'all take care, and I will see you at the gym.